Hello and welcome to Tech Tool India. Today I'm going to explain about how we can ban or suspend a user in Laravel user management system so that user can't log in a Laravel system. So as we already covered with the user management, so this is the list of users which we have. We have created some test users. So if you have not watched the video of how we have created this beautiful admin panel with the user management, you can click on the I button and view that video. For today, let's get started. The very first thing which we look is we have name, email, and these buttons. What we can start with, we can add a status column in users table just to make sure we are managing the status of the user who is able to log in and all other who is banned on this Laravel application. So let's go into the database. See, as you can see, we have these fields available in the database: name, email verified, password, remember token. What we have to do, we have to simply add a status column here, which will be by default one, which is one for the active and zero for the banned users. So what we can do, we can simply go into the code, create a migration, just run a command, php artisan make migration, add status column in users table. Just give a name to this migration as descriptive as possible. It will create a migration for users table migration. As you see, this schema is created. So what we have to add, we have to add a tiny integer, name it as a status, default value would be 1, and this should go after password. So this should go after the password, and that's it. So in up function, we write this status column, and in down, what we have to do, we just drop the status column, table drop column. We have drop column status. That's it. So we have written down our migration. Just run the command now, php artisan migrate, and it will migrate our this status column in users table. Let's refresh this table. Yes, we got the status column in the users table, and all the status for all the users by default is 1. What next? Let's open this user model, and in the fillable add a status column here, just to make sure when we ban or suspend a user, it will update the status. So that's why we use this fillable property of model eloquent. We have added database column status and added a fillable property. What next? Let's go into the, as we are using this users resource to manage the user management, what we can do, we can add a new root get. We can give it a users update status users status, and whatever the status code would be. So status code, the column name will be just simply user controller class. what we can do, we can pass inside this, and we need to call a function update status in a single quote, and that's it. One thing which we have to do here is to make a group which have the authenticated middleware. So let's make this auth middleware and then group it. And let's move these URLs inside the group. So what we'll do, it's always an authenticated URL, authenticated routes. This is for user management, and this is to update users. Alright, so we have updated this. Let's create this in a user controller. So let's open user controller, let's go down, create a function. It will accept the status. It should accept two parameters. The first one would be the user ID, and the second one would be status code. What is the status code? So it will accept two parameters. One is a user ID and the second one is status code. Just to explain this, we have to write to update status of user. It will accept parameter as integer, user ID, and the same thing, it accept the status code as well. What it will return, it returns the success response. Alright, we will put it into try catch block, and the catch will throw this. Let's update the user where ID is equals to user ID, update status $status code. Let's take it an update user variable. If update user is there, what we can do, we can return is redirect to root users dot index with success user status updated successfully. Alright, we have done this. Else what we can return, we have to return an error message. Error, failed to update user status. Failed to update user status. Alright, we are all set with this update status function. Next, we'll open the list, users list, and as we have this button there, what we can do, we can simply add a new button here, give it a ban class, and instead of redirecting it to users.edit, let's give it a name here. Let's give it a name, what we can call users dot status dot update. We can call this root name here. We'll pass the first parameter as the user ID, and the second parameter would be on the condition if $user pointing to status is equals to 1, else and if. So this would be a danger, as it's 1, so we have to pass the status code as 0, and instead of user, let's pass it user ID. Copy the same button, paste it here, and give it a class success. Instead of 0 status code, pass 1. Instead of ban, pass check. All right, I think we all are set. Let's go into the users table index function. What we are selecting, yes, we are not selecting a status here, so let's add a status here and refresh this. Yes, we are getting this. Let's ban a user. Yep, let's see if this user has updated the status test12345 at test.com. So here is the user. Let's refresh the table. Yes, as you see, the status has become 0 here. All right, so how we can, let's activate it. Yeah, it's working fine. Now the feature comes, like how we can ban this user from login. So for that, what we have to do, first we need to create a middleware for this. To create a middleware, what we'll do, we'll just run a command, php artisan make middleware, and check band is the middleware name which we are creating. It has created inside the middleware. This is the function. So what we have to check here in the middleware, if user is authenticated, the very first thing which we have to check is like user is authenticated, and second, what we have to check, auth of user status is equal, if status equal to 0, then we have to log out our user. Then we have to log out this, and what we have, other things we do, we will invalidate this session. We'll invalidate this session and we'll regenerate the token. We'll use this session, regenerate token, and then return return redirected to root login with error message. Your account is suspended. Please contact admin. So what this middleware do? It'll just check if the user authenticated and status is 0. So what we'll do? It's all log out this current user and then invalidate the session and regenerate a token and redirect to the login screen with an error message. All right, to register this middleware, what we have to do, we just go into the http kernel.php. So as we need to activate this check band for all web routes, so what we can do here, we simply add a class inside a web middleware. So what we'll do, app http middleware and check band class. That's it. So it will check for all the authenticated users. Let's go into, all right, we are all set. Let's go into this users test. Copy this password for this user is password, so nothing to worry about that. Copy that, just log out from here, go to the login, paste this, and password will be password. Try logging in. We have invalidate, call a member function, invalidate on a null. So we have something there to check in code. Okay, so this should be a function, not a. Let's refresh this. For password, we'll add a password here and try logging in. We have redirected here. What we have to do, we have to display the error message here. So what we can do, we can go to the login screen of views auth login.blade. What we can do, we can simply display the login errors. If there is a session of error message, what we can do here is just create a span, give it a class danger, text danger, and inside this we have to print the session of error. Let's go to the login screen, refresh this. What we have, try login. Your account is suspended. Please contact your admin. If I go to this, go to the user list and activate this user, log out with this user, and if I try login this user, if I log in, yeah, it's working. So our user suspension is working properly. If you found this video informative, please do like, share, and comment on this video. If you have any doubt about Laravel, about this middleware, banning any user in Laravel, you can comment out to this video. I'll reach out to you and try to resolve any issue which you are facing. And in the coming videos, I'm going to tell you more advanced feature about the Laravel. Please do subscribe for any latest video. Keep learning, stay tuned. Thank you for watching.